Moo and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pinktron. I am Brent Robinson. I'm joined today by John Keenan. John, what are you drinking?
I've got a lemon lime twist Zevia fizzy water drink. Sort
Excellent.
of faux lemon 7 Up something.
It tastes good. Tastes refreshing.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. All right, Steph. Matt Jen is here. Steph, what are you drinking?
Also doubling up on the citrus, back again on the Fanta lemon.
Perfect. And we have with us Sean Bogenberg. Sean, what are you drinking?
I've got a Synergy Island Bliss kombucha, which is, I think, passion fruit orange guava. Um, and if the hangover from yesterday lessens a bit, I might go get some of the offending liquid. There's some leftover punch that I made for a Thanksgiving thing yesterday.
You
Mm.
gave much thanks yesterday.
A little too much.
That's all good. All right, I basically just had a big cup of tea because this week winter hit uh southern Alberta. It has been snowy and cold, and I could use a brake, an electric brake. This week's route on HWR is electric brake. I don't think any of us have raced it yet.
What?
Nope.
No, but I was
See,
about to say you don't want to brake on electric brake.
yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. So yeah, HWR electric brake. It starts in Neokyo, goes down through the tunnel, right?
The
Goes down the
Pain
painting,
tunnel.
Cavern.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, and then just turns around in the mangrove swamp, comes back up through the tunnel, and then rides through the city a bit, and then goes up rooftop KOM to finish. So that's fun.
I feel like did we
I
do
think
this one in like ZRL?
unlocked.
Oh, that's what it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was
Or
doing the
did
same
it?
thing. I'm like, I didn't remember the name of it. And then I was like, this sounds familiar, but yeah, it was unlocked.
Yeah, I did race this one though.
I did it part in Unlocked. I did it as a group ride, but I did race it in ladder as a ladder race as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in terms of like tactics or strategy, I don't think it's too complicated. I can't even the crazies, I would be shocked if they attack before you get at least to the bottom of the mangrove swamp. So you definitely want to stay in the group until there. Sometimes there's downhill shenanigans in those tunnels and stuff.
So that was what I was gonna say is when I raced this one, uh, it was it was in that Zwift Unlocked, so it was a ZRS categorized race, and everything was super easy in that first flat part.
Mhm.
Like but I didn't. I think I realized that I was in a group with some smaller riders, and I attacked into the downhill, and one other guy came with me, and we actually got like 15 seconds just on the downhill.
And did it hold?
Not really, but we got to take it easier on the
Hmm.
bottom part, and then there was attacking on the hill back up.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I
I
think
do. I
definitely.
I think in HWR, or I wouldn't be surprised if there's some, you know, dumb stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there might be. I just don't like there's so big numbers and there's so much like there's gonna be like big people who are C's will make it to like the downhill, so they're gonna keep the pace high. Like I don't know. Listen, I guess if you're like a super high A and you think you, especially if you're a heavy A, you can break the group and make space, go ahead. But I think for the rest of us mere mortals, just try and stick in the group. And I think there'll be an awfully big group till we hit the bottom of mangrove swamp.
Yeah.
I think. And then yeah, you're gonna come back up and then in the canyon. I mean, it's just try and hold on. I will say I find the canyon now with I think it was there before we had the little grade indicator. I find now with the grade indicator that's very much more sort of
Does it make it feel easier?
I don't easier, but you know when you can at least like you're gonna have to go because you can see when it's doing like the 4, 5, 6 bits and when it's doing the 1, 2, 3 bits.
that is one that is frustrating to get dropped on because you realize like I have draft here. Like I should be able to hang on, but you know, if the pace is just a bit too high. It looks like the winning time in race one was around 27 minutes. And
Surprise, surprise, Bart again.
It's a stud, man. And then, yeah, the finish is rooftop KOM, which is like a 3-ish minute effort for most people.
3 to 4, yeah.
And like very draftable for most of it. And then this is
If you're
something
in a
that,
group.
oh yeah, if you're in a group, yeah, definitely try and be in a group
Yeah,
if you can.
if you have,
And then I would,
because there's a lot of flat between the cave and the start of that too. So
a
you want to
good
be in a
amount.
group there.
Yep. And then what I find about rooftop KON too is I always thought the like steep bit started when you start like there's a left-hand turn onto like a ramp that goes like around a building and then goes into like those purple ones, but it's really only the last ramp out of that thing that the actual steep stuff starts. Those ramps like look steeper than they really are. So
Yeah.
I always try and start too soon or give up too early. Like do try and stick with it into there because yeah. I mean it's ramping up, ramping flat, but then like there is a consistent last climb from like that last section up off that building and then through all those purple weird train tracky things.
But even that is really averages probably around 4 to 5% on that part.
Yep. Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
that steep.
yeah, that steepest part is that last section when you go around a building, but when you reach the rail tracks, it evens off. Yeah, like Sean said, 3-4% max.
Yeah. And then there is like a little flat bit to finish, right? You kind of come up on top and you head towards like a U-turn and then it's U-turn into the finish.
Yeah,
Yep.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
27
it
minutes.
seemed Bart again soloed away 25 seconds in front of the rest. And then there was a group, probably a group that split up on that rooftop KOM. See, top 15 of places 2 to 15 were within 6 seconds. So, well, even 10 seconds until the top 18. So, Matt Afraid is just dropped from that group. And Jack Trainer, one of the teammate of Matt's at the Mammals, former Squirrel teammate, ladder teammate for me. And Chris finished 24th in the group, in the second group behind that big group.
Yeah, it's
Big numbers again this week.
45 on Zwift Power.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, I was trying to check on Zwift ZRAP because they have now also the non Swift Power people, but it hasn't updated yet.
fair enough. Still, that's pretty good. Doing 45 ones with power. That's
It's a good HWR. Yeah.
Yeah.
And numbers have seemed strong. I don't know. Everyone I've done seemed pretty good. Like there's been one like, 19 people show up yet, I don't think, but I've been in. Good. Bike. I wouldn't worry too much about the climminess. I would get your slickest thing and maybe don't put disc wheels on it.
Yeah.
Those NVs or that DT Swiss, probably good choices.
61 in game. So indeed, good one.
It's good. Everyone should find a group with those numbers.
Yeah.
Or at least, 2 threes. 2s and 3s is good.
Yeah.
If you have to.
If you have at least one people to ride with, that's a bonus.
Yep. I think that's it. The herd stampede challenge continues apace. It is on double span spin, New York. So if you haven't got that one, it's a good one. Finishes at like looks like it finishes at the sprint on the top of right, the sprint segment at the top of that hill. I think that's right on Manhattan Bridge. So it's like got a it's kind of like flat to downhill, then 2 climbs basically, but very, those 3%, 4% New York bridge climbs, which are, good challenges, but whatever. Times are coming in definitely in like low 20s. Some definitely B's and A's are coming in under 20.
So it's with the lead in, it's 12.6 kilometers ish. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's lead in from Prospect Park, Pence to Manhattan Bridge, and then you do a loop of the two bridges. So
So
12 kilometers seems right.
yeah, seems like that should be sub 20 minutes for a lot of people.
The B's and A's are sub 20.
Yeah.
Well, the fast B's.
Yeah.
I can technically do it on Sunday at 7 a.m. or 3 p.m. Let's see if I want to do it.
There's a lot to distract you. So.
Yeah, no kidding. Yep. So that's good. There's lots of good results. There's lots of results in the league. So, get in there, see what you got.
I'm confused because like 12.6 kilometers should only take about 19 minutes at 40 kph. So either this is slower than you expect or it's somehow longer.
There's 2 climbs, 3% climbs. So.
But they're 3%. It's still
technically 3 climbs because you have Manhattan Bridge, climby, then that's Brooklyn Bridge KOM, and you go climb, well, quote unquote climb until the Manhattan Bridge again.
Yeah.
So it's a quite uneven, uneven leap. Yeah, it's interesting pacing, I would say. Yeah.
It's probably also got that ridiculously long, like 45-second pen, the pen intro.
No. It starts in Prospect Park.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's not.
Okay.
It's not on Times Square.
You technically have one of the elevators.
So Brent, do you want to have a quick chat about whether or not you push on the escalators?
Well, I still don't actually know what the answer is.
I don't think that we have an answer. I think I have my thoughts on what the answer is, but
I think we might have over sprinted them a little. So the discussion arises from the TTT this week was on a course called What's the Limit, and it had 6
Wow.
escalators. So yeah, so 3 times you go down, up and down, right?
Yeah.
Up and down,
down and up.
Down and up, yeah. So I don't know, our strategy going into it was like hit the escalators hard because you got to kind of maintain momentum and get up as your TTT team and all the rest.
And we went hard, but not like crazy. I think we were doing 7-ish watts a kilo.
That sounds
up
right
them
for most of us. Yeah, I think that sounds all right. So some of the I don't know, I was listening, I snoop in the Griffins group chat still, so sorry Griffins, but they were talking about how sort of between the speed going in and the escalator that actually it seemed like the optimal strategy was not to like hammer it, but to sort of like just cruise into a little and then maybe give a little bump, but stay mostly steady and try to cruise or roll through them and get more boost from the escalatory bits to get through them, and you wouldn't actually lose that much speed with less effort, essentially. So I don't know. I have no idea. It felt pretty smooth for us to get through, especially like our uphills were good. I would say I don't know what to do with the downhills because we did have someone roll through the guy in the front. I think I might have held the front one time that I went down. I think I had every downhill. But I know like the first one I went down, I just sort of like pedaled steady down, and then someone went in front of me and I was doing like 650 watts on the flats to try and get back into my pull.
Yeah.
So that was tricky, and I don't know how to manage that. I don't know if that's just the new draft thing that we'll talk about later, them coming through, or just the challenge of like when to come on and off the power to stay in the line. It was tricky. But I thought the uphills were pretty steady.
I did some let's call it snooping in Strava, just checking out what other teams were doing, and found some riders or some teams that almost didn't bump up power at all, some that bumped up a little bit, and then we did pretty hard, and then there were some that did like actually really like they just sprinted up it.
Hmm.
And I think that maybe doing somewhere around 6 watts a kilo is probably like the best balance, because we actually held speed really well when you kind of do a medium length, or for most of them they're about 10 seconds or less, and so hitting them pretty hard. We were still only dropping to about a little under 40 kph for most of them, and the teams that were doing 400-ish watts, so like I don't know, 5 watts a kilo, were dropping to like 32 or like 35 a lot of the time. I think we held about 5 kph more, and then we're back up to speed a lot quicker as well. So probably gained 2 or 3 seconds every time we went up one of those. And so the question is, were we able to hold a similar pace on the flat because we kicked hard on those? So for this, I don't, yeah, in a TTT, are you, in the TT for Stampede, you only hit the one. What would you do, Brent?
If it was on those specific escalators in a
On the
stampede,
one, I think there's only one in this
Yeah,
course.
on the lead in, you have one subway section from Prospect Park to the bridges.
like before I'd read all that stuff and heard that, I definitely would have like pumped up like 500 plus watts across it. Now probably for an experiment, I'd just go steady on and see what happened.
Yeah.
Feels like it's hard to go steady on because you hit that, whatever the gradients are, 16, 19%. You just,
I think that's the other part of it, is just getting it over with. You kick up it and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm done and I don't have to push against this gradient.
yeah, your knees are not screaming at you quite as long. Yeah.
The virtual shifting changes that
Yeah.
calculus.
Yeah.
You can shift down pretty fast.
Cool.
Interesting. All right, HBR Steph.
Since it's last weekend of the month, good old TikTok.
We all know it.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's it for the week in herd racing. So I think that brings us to the news, which first off, we'll say, I think we'll just start with the Tour de Boudica, the 3-day women's stage race is on. I don't know. I hope there's some herd ladies racing in it. I haven't seen any herd teams being announced to go in it.
Yeah, but it's still the first weekend or the first weekend of January, so still some time to.
But we do hope that there are herd racing ladies who would like to put a team together and get into it. And if you are, let us know. We'll give you a shout out. We'll pump you up. So if you got some ladies who want to get together and race and just stuff, it looks super fun. Looks like a good. It's an interesting sort of set of schedules. It's got a scratch race, which is 26.3 kilometers, pretty reasonable. And then the second stage is 3 mini races that are like sort of, well, one is 5.2, one's 6, and then one 20.1 kilometers. And then stage 3, the queen stage is temples and towers, which isn't terrible for a queen stage.
No.
So 33 kilometers. So good courses, good little series, and there's prizes and everything else. So,
And I do like these things where you have a GC and like doing something different and having different ways to ride. Series is always fun.
and sorry, I'm saying teams. It's not a team race. It's like an individual competition, but it's always fun when you
Hurt
go those things together with a team.
Well, it does say that there's a Team GC.
Team GC. Okay, there you go.
So points earned on each stage by the top 3 riders from each team. So,
There you go.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Get your friends and have a fun little series. All right. The other news we wanted to talk about. Oh, go ahead, Steph.
Yeah, I want to just remembered and also it's referencing the Week in Hurt Racing. A little shout out to I haven't done much of the Thursday day TTTs, but Lisa Jones, who organized it for many years, has stepped down from organizing. I think Paul Smith is now taking over. But yeah, I wanted to give a quick shout out, I think, because many hurt people do it week in and week out, and appreciate it all the organizing and setting up the teams by Lisa over the years. I'm 3 years now on Zwift, and it's always been her. So and long before that as well, probably.
Agreed. All right. The other part of the news we're going to talk about is Zwift. Part of the latest Zwift update included a change to the drafting algorithm that will make it feel like you're more in the draft when you are climbing or descending, essentially. So, if you're trying to stay in a group going up a hill, it should be a little bit easier to stay in that group. And if you're descending down a hill, it should be, I'm going to say, materially easier to stay in the group on the descent. And then it says that I think it's essentially as an effect of being able to stay in the draft, because of what we're going to talk about in a second and why that is, that makes the pack speeds going downhill faster. But the most interesting thing of this is why this was a thing that was happening. And the answer is that the Zwift draft algorithm had been in place since, I assume, the inception of Zwift. It cast the draft shadow always at a plane that was like horizontal to like the horizon, I guess, for lack of a better expression, like at a 0-degree plane. And so when you were on either any sort of a grade, that draft plane was projecting like either into space when you were going uphill, or when you're going downhill back into the hill. So as you're riding along, essentially that draft plane would like zero out, but and the steeper it got, the worse it was. So as you like went along, as you got closer to the, you had to be really, really close, and that draft window would get very, very short because it was projecting at a 0-degree back, which, is in one way hilarious, but also perfectly understandable that you would just like sort of draft up some draft algorithm. It just says, this object is moving along here, and then it creates, right behind it, this thing. But sometimes right behind it is not on the same plane as like 0 degrees.
Well, it was a very specific, like, oh, a tall person's going to have a taller draft and a short person's going to have a shorter draft. And then that was just all completely horizontal.
I don't even think that they implement by height.
Oh, they don't?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I could be
Not
wrong.
on draft, just on the CDA, I think.
Yeah, I think that everyone has a calculation about their CDA, but I don't think that it affects how big your draft is.
How big your draft is? Okay.
I could be wrong. Obviously, none of us really have the details of the physics, but I remember seeing that at some point, that like drafting behind different size riders didn't actually change things.
I guess they did say when they introduced the hand bikes that was a different type of draft. You were going to have less than riding behind an upright bike. But yeah, it's like sticking your head out the sunroof, driving along, right? On the big downhills anyway.
Yeah, it's anyway, I mean, it should, like I said, for smaller riders who always found that they were getting dropped in the draft, or taller riders. This is why I said I assume that they must have it in the CDA somewhere, Sean, because like we know that taller riders
Oh, it's
get
definitely in the
penalized.
CDA calculation.
Yeah,
Like I know that.
Yeah.
yeah. So though, if you're sort of it got worse as you go faster, right? I can't remember the relationship. It's like the square of the
Yeah.
frontal area or something. So, that's yeah, it should be an improvement. It should feel more like real life, I guess, theoretically. I mean, that is the way draft aerodynamics work, I assume, on a hill, is they're not projecting back horizontal to the horizon. And
For the few Zwift riders that bomb down hills at 80 kph in a giant Peloton, yeah, it might feel more like real life.
yeah, well, that's true too. I suppose that's the thing, right? And ultimately, that's
Like I'm never gonna ride in a smashed up in a Peloton like that. That's insane.
I suppose that's true, right? Of all the things in Zwift that are the least realistic, the descending is the craziest, right?
Oh, and then the
Especially like,
corners.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna say, like you're going downhill from the Alpe du Zwift at like 85 kilometers an hour, just straight into a corner, and with 100 people, you just
And you're still going
hairpin turn, no
85 coming
sweat.
out of it. Yeah.
Somehow you didn't crash.
It should, for anyone who'd ever had trouble getting their 100 kph badge, should be slightly easier now, right? Just get a few
Yeah.
more of your best friends up to Bologna, or
Hmm.
up to the
Radio
radio
tower.
tower and Smoker, and you should be able to get her now.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can get that extra 5 kph because I always on Bologna or Radio Tower end up like 95, 96, 97 and never got to the 100.
Oh, last time we did it in HWR, I got up to 103 just on my own. But
Okay.
I switched on to I did finish the ride, then switched on to a TT bike. So the nice heavy K-Dex bomb down the hill.
Yeah.
Did try it, but maybe I didn't have enough launching speed to project me. But
Yeah.
So I will say that the feel of this should be better, but also I think it's going to be even more important to push over the tops of hills now. Like
Hmm.
it should
oh
be
yeah,
a little easier to hold on to a group, uh, even going up because you're going to have a little bit more draft. Uh, but if there's a little gap, that little gap could explode real quickly if you just miss the back of a group over the top of a climb.
Because they're going to be going so much faster, you're thinking? Yeah.
But it should also be slightly easier to catch that group, because that draft window behind it will be a little longer. So like this, I would say the one place that I've noticed that I've been like, I can't believe that pulled away from me, is leg snapper,
yeah,
right? Like it always felt
Mm.
like if
yeah.
they were
What
just
about it?
like, even if they were 5 meters in front of you, if they started going faster, it was impossible to get back in that draft window on that descent. And so this should actually like lengthen that thing out, so you actually get into that draft window easier. But yes, if you don't get it, it'll be gone,
Yeah.
because they will be going 10% faster than you at the same effort they used to.
Yeah, we did a ladder race yesterday. We were wondering if it was in effect or not, but we were more busy with me eventually choosing the wrong bike choice because we were on jungle circuit, and I went off Zwifter bikes who said mountain bikes were way faster, and it turns out that gravel bikes and apparently Zwifter bikes is out of date. But it was the opposite, so we disadvantaged ourselves. So we had other problems to deal with, but it was noticeable. You could feel it. I noticed something was wrong. We had to push on the mountain bikes a lot more watts per kilo just to keep up with gravel bikes. So yeah, good old yeah.
Good. Yeah. Well, listen, like I said, I find this sort of part of the bike video game like interesting, right? How these all kind of systems all work together and make it different than real cycling. I found that one particularly sort of interesting and intriguing. And that brings us to Round the Horn. It is November 28th as we record this. We are closing in on the end of the year. And I know our group chat had been a little bit full of people kind of chatting up um, about, end of year stuff and how many kilometers they're going to get in and all that other kind of jazz. So I thought we'd just maybe recap our year in cycling a little bit and if we had any plans for any crazy December stuff to wrap those up or not. You want me to go first, or do you guys want to go? Why do you go first, John? What do you got going on? Did you have a good year? Do you look at this stuff at all?
Oh, John or Sean?
I thought I said John, but
Okay. Sorry, I was just looking at my numbers, and yeah, it's fallen off a little. I've been trying to do more running and rowing and stuff. So, but it hasn't fallen off as much as I thought. I think last year I got 7,000 K, and then this year I'm only at 6,000. I'm hoping to do the Rafa again, but I'm also doing like some indoor rowing, and I guess there's another challenge that they do that's you if you row 100 kilometers on the erg machine, then you get a pin, an actual thing, which is somewhat intriguing that you get an actual thing. And that works out to like, I don't know, 13 to 15, probably more like 15 hours of rowing, and you do it between Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Eve. And then I thought, well, that'll put me in a good place to then start the Rafa on Christmas Eve, do the 500 bike K, and finish the year strong.
Do you feel like rowing fitness and bike fitness translate well?
I think it does largely. It's legs. There is a lot of core, and that's where I feel myself fatigue over about an hour. So, somewhere around the hour mark, I start feeling like, okay, my core is just not keeping up with what needs to happen. And so I've been trying to focus on that in my other training. But yeah, like the leg stuff, like, I mean, somebody who just started rowing in the last 5 months, people are like, wow, how did you get? Then I'm like, I'm tall. I ride my bike. I do leg-based sports. So I think my base is good. My fitness level is good. I think it's just tweaking the technique and then getting the core worked up. But yeah, we'll see if we can hit 7,000. I don't think I'll hit 7,000 this year. I'll get maybe 6,800, 6,700 probably.
cool. All right. Do you find like I don't know rowing that well as a sport, but is weight like the same like in running and cycling? Is it a thing that they measure? Is it sort of like because you're on the water and it's
It
all
seems to
horizontal,
be
it's not
going
too
out, I guess, in the ye olden days. There used to be lightweight boats, and I don't know what the cutoff was. And then there were just other competitors. And you still see lightweights in some races, but I guess the national organization's trying to get away from it because there was, just problems with people and their weight. So I think they're going more toward the taller, the better. At least that's what you see in the really competitive teams. They're all, 6'4", 6'5" is kind of a minimum for the guys. Um, and ripped. Because the boats, I don't know what the boats weigh, but somebody did say by the time you put 8 guys, a coxswain, and a boat, you've got a ton of weight. So
Wow.
then you gotta start moving 1 ton from a dead stop as fast as you can.
I bet. All right. Sean, you want to go next?
Yeah. I was just looking at the things, and I through about mid-August, I was on pace for my biggest year. Um, I was, racking up 40-hour months pretty regularly. And then I haven't gone over, I did like 26, 29, 19. I'm at 17 so far this month.
Mm.
Um, and I, like last year in December, the last 2 years in December, I did on average 60-hour months with 1,100, 1,200 miles. I don't think I'm going to have the time for that this year. Um, if I was to do that, I think I would end up doing, this is in miles, but I've the last 3 years I've done 6,800, 7,000, and 7,500 miles. I will be lucky to get to like, let's call it 6,500 this year, I think. It's probably going to be under that. And I'm not thrilled about it, but I've been working on uh, my like a personal project that I'll probably, announce at some point. And yeah, I've been focusing on some other things in the like second half of this year that have taken me away from really focusing on the bike fitness, which is a bummer because in July I was probably the most fit I've ever been, um, and I've actually been legitimately feeling like I fit in B for a while there, um, and I don't feel like that when racing ZRL right now. Um, the My Zwift Racing app score, my velo is still for a while, and I think maybe still was the highest among the podcast group, and I don't think that I deserve that anymore. But I think that I think Craig's coming for me and might actually have passed me at this point. So
So Sean, your first half of the year, were those, how much of that was sort of training versus just riding races that you wanted to race versus?
I haven't been structured training this year.
Okay.
I think a lot of it was that from actually I still have it open, so just take a look. Um, Basically from November through February uh, of this year, and like even from mid-October through February, I basically was doing 10-hour weeks every week for
Mm,
10 plus, and that included a 24-hour week for Rafa. And like,
right.
so I think that base really carried me through the summer, and then falling off big, like, and that was with doing, 7-hour weeks regularly um, through the rest of the spring and summer.
And you
And
were
that's only,
riding acro too, right?
yeah. So the Chasing Yellow
Chasing
was
yellow.
was July, and that's when I felt the fittest I've ever felt. Like I was,
Hmm.
which was weird. Like that was a weird feeling to be setting power bests on day 6 of
Yeah.
Chasing Yellow.
Yeah.
Well, I I think stuff happens in those,
Yeah,
you know.
it was a bummer that I never really got to see the bump from that big July though. Like that, you know, I I did another really good race and like a couple races through mid-August, and then from mid-August to mid-September I basically did like I didn't do much. So I kind of never got to see those gains. Anyway, yeah.
All right, Steph, you want to go next?
Yeah, because I'm single, I live by myself. Cycling is my main activity. So, and I think now, since I had a trainer 3 years ago, I've been doing really good, consistent miles. I think not really structured training, I would say. I try to keep it a bit, but yeah, I think in 2023 I hit 10,000 kilometers. Last year I hit 12,000 kilometers. I'm now at 10,750. So I set usually I set my goal to at least 10,000 kilometers. So I passed that, and now it's seeing if I can get to 12,000 with a good end of the year Rafa week should be doable. Yeah, looking at my Garmin Connect, I did my least my least month was September, was 800. Yeah, I've been between 800 and 1,400 kilometers on a monthly basis. Surprisingly, that 1,400 was in May. July was also a big month, but I think that was my holiday. Didn't go on the usual 2 weeks holiday, but I did a week holiday, a week's worth of cycling holiday with some big rides. So averaging between 30 hours and 55 hours per month. So yeah, 7.5 hours per week average. So yeah,
That's
it's
good
been
stuff.
it's been good. Yeah, I think I had a bit of a break start of the year with leather, but now after a bit of a break, I joined the now previously I was on the Speedy Squirrels, now on the Hammerheads, and for my fitness level, yeah, it's been a quite an enjoyable race. Also, apparently there's a good ethos within the captains of the teams were around us, that they try to communicate with each other to get at least lineups compatible with each other to have fun races, so it's not a one-sided race, so which isn't fun for both teams. So that makes it also fun.
This is like you're talking about amongst like the captains of the different teams.
Yeah, with the captains, they check. We have those four riders, the silver, bronze. We have like 3 silver, 2 bronze, and we kind of try to match it with the people we both teams have to make it an equal race and a fun race for each other. I think yesterday it was pretty evenly matched, although the disadvantage of me choosing mountain bikes. But yeah, it was pretty evenly matched races, so that was quite fun.
Nice. Nice. And I have had my lowest year by like half since 2020 at least. So
Ouch.
yeah. I mean, it was what it was. I knew what I was signing up for when I got there.
Mhm.
So yeah, moving houses, starting a new job, and like having 2 and at some points 3 jobs in a year is definitely gonna weigh down your ability to do other things like cycle a lot on Zwift. And so, and like my other job, I brought a lot of travel with it. So like, doing 2 2 hour rides on weekends was just not a thing for especially much of the summer. So,
We got to get hotel workout rooms to have Zwift capability. That
uh,
would be a game changer for
you
a lot of
can,
people.
there are some hotel bikes that I suspect you could get some data off of. I wouldn't want to do a race or anything, but you could
No, but just
plunk in your
for,
phone and Bluetooth it on and get some
yeah.
data out of it, probably. Whether you're getting one of those, it's hard to say, and I guarantee you, if you like called up the hotel and were like, "Hey, does your hotel um
Right.
bike have a power output to Bluetooth?" They would like, "Oh, we don't know. Here's a picture of it. You tell me." So it'd be a bit tricky.
I mean, I even
Just
went
go back.
to I even went to the guy who he's like a sports physiologist guy, and he does the VO2 max test. And he said, "Oh, do you want to do treadmill or bike?" And I said, "Oh, I'd love to do bike because that's what I'm more used to." And so I bring my bike in. He's got a kicker snap, and I'm like, "No, that's probably no. I'll do the treadmill. Yeah."
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So yeah, but my biggest year since I got on Zwift was I got up to 9,600 in December of 2022. This year I'm
Nice.
only at like 2,500. So that being said, I might get close to 3,000. I got a couple days left in November, and I usually get 500. Although I will not be doing Rafa 500 this year.
No, you sure?
No, I'm 100%
Can't convince
sure.
you?
I'm leaving for Italy on December 26th.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
So yeah, we'll be
Just so 500K ride on the 24th.
yeah, exactly
yeah.
right. Well, come on, 250 on
Yeah.
each. Maybe a few kilometers
Just,
before we go, but yeah.
just let Jeff Heisler pull you along. You'll be fine.
Oh my God. Do it the first day.
I
Yeah.
want to do something else those 2 days. So, but I'm back into it. Like I said, we had pretty good numbers here since September, and I'm starting to feel back into it. I I still like have dreams about not getting that race 3 of ZRL. Like I really thought I had a crack at podium on that one.
Mm.
That was a that one stung. Oh, I wasn't on last week. You guys, Sean might have heard the story maybe in the group chat, but I haven't told the story of ZRL race 3, have I?
No.
It was like London Loop reverse 3 climbs, Fox Hill. That's the one, right? Yeah, yeah. So like it was like first climb didn't feel too bad in the front group, good enough. Second climb harder, and we were all slower, not bad. After the second climb, there was like a couple things, and the one guy like broke away, and then another guy went and chased him, and I went with the second chaser, and the three of us were up to I think 15 or maybe 20 seconds off the front
No.
heading into the third climb. That did not last very long. Didn't even make it to like the first um,
Bend.
switchback before the fastest parts of the group, and the group really broke up there. I think because I think we were kind of like 20 plus still in the group, and there was only 14 in the final group. So I think like definitely was only the fastest guys to get up the hill. And I just some of it I think is just motivation at pacing just by myself because the other two guys like right as we hit the later they were out the back and the one guy didn't even hold the group. But like you're
Mm.
trying to like go hard, but how hard is hard when there's not like 10 other guys around you to measure off.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they caught me. Just about got dropped at the top, like had to like definitely do a like, oh my God, Brent, they're about to hit the top of the crest. You got to get on there like 600 watt for 10-second smasher Rooney
Mm.
to get back onto the top of the group. And then one guy had gone off and he had gotten about maybe 8 to 10 seconds. No, he was more than that. He was like 20 seconds. He was 20 seconds before we hit the descent, like the real legit descent, right? Like not just the kicker in the flat, but the actual descent. So now there's like 14 of us chasing on the descent with our anvils. And by the time we got to the escalator, that gap was down to about 10 seconds. And then we got up the escalator and there was two of his teammates in the group and they were very definitively like going on the front hitting the brakes. Do you know what I mean? Like they were trying to
Mm.
like slow the pack down, which is all fair game. Like I have no problems with this is all part of the thing, and I'm messaging like when these guys are in the front we got to go past them, guys, we got to try and catch this guy. And I'm like onto the front for like 15-20 seconds hard and then like fade back and trying to drive the group, trying to get the group to go, and just nobody is coming with me. So finally with about 2.5 kilometers maybe I like go for one of my pulls and the other guys are just like sort of like you can see behind like 3-4 seconds. All right, I'm just going. So I'm trying now to TT catch this guy who's like 8 seconds up the road, putting time into the guys a little bit behind me. And then probably with about 800 meters, I kind of ran out of steam. I think I'd close the gap to within about 3-4 seconds in front, but then the guys from behind were all coming through. Then I'm trying to like
Like I,
catch on in the sprint, and I ended up at the back, and they ended up about 1 second, 2 seconds off him, and the two other guys from the SWAT team go 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
Yeah. And
brutal.
Dave,
Oh,
our
did
team
Brutal.
got
yeah.
fifth.
Okay, he was fifth.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, I really thought I had a crack at it. Like I said, I was feeling pretty good, especially when the rest of the guys were not going. But I don't know. This is always the thing about ZRL that drives me a bit crazy because the other 8 people, and I'm like, he's a strong rider too. Anyway, but like those other guys should have been like, we're going on the front, like it should have been hard guy on the front, hard guy in the front. We definitely should have caught that guy up.
Hmm.
Like if we were got within 1 or 2 seconds there, and I was the only guy who was really taking hard pulls on the front, if it was even like that, like just the tiniest bit of coordination in the pack, I think we would have caught that guy. But it just
Did
was
he end
not
up
happening.
winning?
Yeah, he won. He won by like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So I mean, they did like try to a little bit, obviously, to just like, surge at the end, but just a little too late, I guess. Which I guess is part of cycling, right? You're always trying to do that math and
Yeah.
game it out. But anyway, I ended up at the very back of that pack because by the time they came through me, I just had nothing left to.
Well, they were
Yeah.
moving like a freight train at that point, right? And
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I ended up at the very back of that race due to
Yeah,
some technical issues, but
that's the way it goes.
yeah.
Anyway, it was like it was a good race experience. Like I don't know, anytime you feel like you've got like I've been on the front of the race or in the top 3 for 7 or 8 minutes of a race, you feel like you're in it. That's for sure. So it's good. It's good. So Zwift racing is fun. Draft is better, and everybody should go do some Zwift races this weekend, including HWR. Anyone else? We'll call that the end of Around the Horn, the end of the story time, the end of the podcast. So thank you everybody for listening. Thank you to John Keenan. Thank you to Sean Fogelberg. Thank you to Stef Chen for being here. Thank you to everybody who's doing herd races this weekend. Everybody, moo and good night.